Today is a day that I think many of us thought would never come. The left has turned on Jeff Goldblum. Of all people, they've turned on Jeff Goldblum. It's the weirdest thing. He's the number one trending topic on Twitter right now. And I was like, what did Jeff Goldblum do now? Did he put on a new shiny shirt? Is he going to be starring in Jurassic World 3 in a much larger capacity, which I actually do believe is going to be happening. But no, he's trending because Twitter is trying to cancel Jeff Goldblum. Left Twitter is trying to cancel Jeff Goldblum, and the reason why is because he had apparently the audacity. He had the wherewithal. I don't know. He had the bad idea, so to speak, of defending Woody Allen. And he didn't even really defend Woody Allen. He just said innocent until proven guilty. And that is enough for the left to want to cancel him. That is enough for the left to turn their back on their hipster daddy, a man they have propped up for years because of his kitschy nature and hipster style and how they've always loved him. But now apparently they have no problem canceling him simply because he says you are innocent until you are proven guilty in a court of law. And since there have been no legal filings against Woody Allen, one must assume innocent until proven guilty. But in the post-Me Too era, that is not a thing. In fact, even before Me Too, that was not a thing. But it's been 2 years now, and it hasn't gone away. It's slowed down a little bit, but it still hasn't quite gone away. And of course, if you question the narrative, if you question where things are, if you question anything, you are seen as the bad guy, as in the case of Jeff Goldblum. So for those of you who are unaware, what Woody Allen is being accused of is basically sexual misconduct with his stepdaughter, Dylan Farrow. And she's been making those claims for years. She's been making them for years, and Woody Allen has vehemently denied them. However, a lot of people out there in the Me Too movement, especially the fact that Dylan's older brother Ronan is effectively who kicked it off, they want to go after Woody Allen. Now, Woody Allen has always kind of been a bit of a creep. He's always been a bit of a sex pervert, and that's just true. If you go back and watch any of his earlier films, it's about a guy who could never get laid, talking about getting laid quite often, or the concept or the theories around sex. He was always that kind of dude. Does that mean that he is in real life this kind of person? We don't know. We don't know because there's been no legal filings. There's been accusations that are made, but they're just that. They're accusations. I don't know where he stands. I'm not a particularly big fan of his work, so I don't watch his content anyway, but I've known about those accusations for a while now, and there's always the whole Soon Yi situation. But the fact is that they got together, his stepdaughter, they got together, they got married, they have kids, and he hasn't been with anybody else in the subsequent decades since that scandal broke. So that really does kind of make you question a couple aspects of it. Now, look, I'm not saying he didn't do anything. But I also can't sit there and say that he did. But our society, our culture puts so much emphasis on the accusation that they forget to ask whether or not it's true. And as we watch some of these higher profile Me Too cases come out and come forward and start to fall apart, and there's been some that were outward lies, and there's been others that have been absolutely disproven, and yet none of it matters because the damage is already done. In the wake of Me Too, many actors like Colin Firth and Greta Gerwig have said that they would not work with Woody Allen again. Jeff Goldblum says he would work with Woody Allen, and I believe Scarlett Johansson is somewhere in the middle. I know she's talked about it. I just kind of forget what she said. It could honestly go either way. If Scarlett Johansson worked with Woody Allen again, that would take her feminist street cred and toss it right out the window. I think we all can agree with that. So the likelihood of her actually doing it again is pretty low. But should the internet, should the left cancel Jeff Goldblum because he had an opinion and he talks about due process? I mean, is that like even remotely fair? And I'll catch some flack from this from some people that are going to sit there and say, but Matt, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. He clearly did it. He clearly did it. She says he did it. Why would she lie? I don't know. But we also have to start really pushing, heavily pushing for there to be legal accusations. We have to push for there to be legal filings. File the report with the police. Make the claim. Make the investigators go and do their job so then we can determine if one thing has happened. Now, granted, a lot of this stuff is decades old, so any kind of physical evidence is going to be out the window, obviously. And then, of course, you just have the accusations. And a lot of people who make the accusations, they make the accusations and they want society to basically act as judge, jury, and executioner, which is what we're seeing here. I don't like any kind of sexual harassment or any kind of sexual assault. And I would argue that the vast majority, 99.999% of the population doesn't either, which is one of the reasons why this particular subject is as difficult to talk about as it is, because how do you sit there and say you want due process when some people would argue that due process could never happen? I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm a person who looks at the world around me and would hope that if anyone I knew was in that situation, that there would in fact be due process. That if I was in that situation, that there would in fact be due process, because I've never hurt anyone. And I know that. And a lot of people I know have never hurt anyone. And yet if those accusations come out, what do? They're out there, they're in the media, people talk about it, the narrative gets spun. If you defend yourself from it, it feels like you're deflecting. If you say nothing, it looks like you're hiding away from it. There's no winning scenario for the accused. And there's no day in court to face your accuser, because in these situations, due process doesn't happen. Social media, i.e. Twitter, is looking at Jeff Goldblum right now, and they're basically acting like they're Judge Dredd. They get to be judge, jury, and executioner. Except you can't lock him away in the ISO cube because he said due process is a good thing. And that you have to have the presumption of innocence until proven guilty, because that's how our system works. Again, tough situation to talk about, but we have to really push for those things now. You absolutely positively have to push for those things. If you don't, that makes us no better than other societies where there is no semblance of due process, or someone can just point at you and say, you're a witch. And then they throw you in a lake to see if you can swim, because witches swim. If you drown, you weren't a witch, but if you swim, you're a witch. And then they burn you at the stake. It's a no-win scenario. It's the type of stuff we made fun of. We warned against in regards to looking at the Salem witch trials. That is something that our society actively knows about, but in the age of social media, they tend to forget it. And they do it because it's very easy to just fire up Twitter and fire off a tweet, say, cancel Jeff Goldblum, Woody Allen's this. And then you're done. You've done your due diligence. You've done your virtue signaling Twitter activism for the day. And you move on with your life. But then someone like Jeff Goldblum, who has really done nothing wrong here outside of just voicing an opinion, that's not even a wrong opinion, he's talking about due process, is then going to have that levied at him by hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, because he dared to have an opinion that you don't like. And in your, I don't know, woke activism, you want to cancel a man. You want to cancel his legacy, cancel his career, cancel everything about him because you don't like that he has an opinion that is different than you. Frustrating. That being said, if you have accusations against Woody Allen, if you have anything, go to the police. Even if the statute of limitations is passed, go file a report. At least put it on record. Put your name to it in a legal sense. But how many of them are going to do that? And I've even seen a writer for The Independent asking if anyone has any Jeff Goldblum stories, because that's now the narrative. Well, Jeff Goldblum said due process is a good thing, so why don't we dig up anything we can on Jeff Goldblum? Any old girlfriend, any old lurid detail we can find about his life, let's blast it out there, because we have to cancel Jeff Goldblum. Because if Jeff Goldblum says that due process is the thing, then Jeff Goldblum clearly is a sex pest. Clearly. That's where our society is. That is sickening, it's disgusting, and it's wrong. Anyway, your thoughts, your opinions, let me know down in the comments below. I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a good day. Peace out.